The Polish government and border guard have given no indication of their plans for migrants in Poland or what exactly is happening at the western border. At the same time, Germany is extending border controls in the Schengen area for another 6 months. How exactly will this affect Poland? An incident at the Polish-German border. We asked both the border guards and the German embassy in Poland about the incident, which we recorded on film. The embassy is silent about the matter. Chancellor Scholz has now spoken openly in his campaign for the Bundestag about the fact that he is sending these migrants to his neighbours. But to which neighbours? To France? Do you think he's sending them to France? Well, no. They're not ferrying them over the Alps into Switzerland either. The easier thing to do is to send these migrants to Poland. And we see pictures of this every day. TV Republica published pictures yesterday from one of the border crossings that they are ferrying these migrants still under some sort of sanitary restrictions. The border guard responded that a patrol from the joint Polish-German outpost in Pomelan arrived to carry out actions against 2 Ukrainian citizens turned back by officers of the German Federal Police as part of the temporary introduction of border control, which the German side has been carrying out since October 2023. At that time, German officers also carried out activities against a Polish citizen, a homeless person. The man had lost his right to freedom of movement in Germany and had an active ban on entering Germany. Due to the personal hygiene condition of the Polish citizen, both he and the German officers accompanying him were dressed in protective suits. Germany, subject to a veritable invasion of migrants, has been conducting border controls in the Schengen zone since September. Poland, however, has yet to follow suit. Donald Tusk has led Poland to the point that we are unable to receive any response or even information from official authorities, whether local or central, about such basic, apparent threats. We are seeing a lot of indications that Germany is illegally pushing out some people who are on its territory. And there is no shortage of threats. Today there was another attack. A newcomer from Afghanistan drove into a crowd of people on the streets of Munich. This is not about individual people who may be from different cultures. This is about an insane and dangerous social phenomenon. And we know it's dangerous empirically, beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's why Germany has now decided to extend border controls for another 6 months. My most important proposal is to finally introduce permanent border controls and allow rejection. Ladies and gentlemen, this proposal comes after the entire European immigration and asylum policy has become dysfunctional. The Polish government, led by Donald Tusk, is turning a blind eye and is not answering directly what is really going on at the border, how many migrants have already made it to Poland, and how many will make it in as a result of the EU Migration Pact or other agreements that the current ruling coalition does not wish to reveal. Now, during election season, they speak the language of their primary rivals, the Law and Justice Party. For many months we have said there is no agreement from our side on the enforcement of this pact as far as Poland is concerned. We have done our part. We welcome millions of Ukrainians, help them in this most difficult moment, in a sense standing guard over the entire European Union, taking on this responsibility. But what is the Civic Platform politicians' true position? Certainly, some of these refugees will grow into Polish society. They will accept the rules of the country they live in, and all the better, because this should enrich us. The Civic Platform government from 2014 to 2015 agreed to accept illegal immigrants into Poland. Today, we see on the documents that are between the Office for Foreigners and the Ministry of Defence that it is precisely the issue of relocating these illegal migrants that is to be dealt with by soldiers. And again, we are back to issues related to infrastructure and logistics, for which Minister Tomczyk is responsible. We expect that at the session that will begin next week, this project will be discussed and adopted by the parliamentary majority. Those who reject this project agree to accept illegal migrants smuggled into our country from Germany. Which itself secures its border with controls. Perhaps Poland should follow suit. The West's most important politicians are descending on the Bavarian capital of Munich for the annual security conference. Meanwhile, 1.5 kilometers from the conference hall, a tragedy unfolded on the streets of the city. A 24-year-old migrant from Afghanistan drove a car into a crowd of protesters, injuring at least 28 people, 2 of them seriously. German police have not released the perpetrator's identity. All that is known is that the Afghan migrant had a previous record for drug trafficking and shoplifting. Investigators are determining the motives for the attack. According to them, the Afghan acted alone. A car hit the back of the demonstrators. We saw them walking down the street, and when they crossed the intersection, it was a car that drove into the back of the gathering. The vehicle approached the demonstration, got close to the police car and began speeding ahead. While accelerating, it hit the demonstrators from behind. Police officers fired a shot at the car and caught the perpetrator. Germans still remember the recent terrorist attack on a Christmas market in Magdeburg. I think he wasn't going as fast as in Magdeburg. He didn't have time to get up speed, but he definitely has reached at least 50, 60 or even 80 kilometers per hour. Investigators are also looking into whether the attack may have been politically motivated. It occurred on the eve of the annual Munich Security Conference. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz made it clear. The Afghan perpetrators seriously injured people. We cannot tolerate or accept this. It is very important for me to convey that anyone who commits crimes in Germany will not only be severely punished and sent to prison, that person must also face the fact that he will not be allowed to continue his stay in Germany. The Munich Security Conference will begin tomorrow. Among the topics of discussion are threats to Western civilization, such as armed aggression, economic, as well as terrorism and migration.
Pilecki Institute, established to remind the world of the historical truth about two totalitarianisms, Russian and German, to tell about executioners and victims, to preserve the memory of Polish heroes. Its head for several months has been Professor Krzysztof Ruchniewicz, a historian who the Germans like. The appointment of Mr. Professor Ruchniewicz as head of the Pilecki Institute is a mockery. This man is clearly a lobbyist. He represents German interests. This is such a slap in the face to the Poles. This is a mockery on the part of Donald Tusk. These are a handful of quotes by World War II history specialist Krzysztof Ruchniewicz about reparations owed to Poland by Germany. On the issue of reparations, there are no more legal and political means for Poland to use. Politicians use the topic of reparations because it still stirs emotions in Polish society. Germans don't understand what the Poles are talking about with reparations. In the context of reparations, discussions are closed. You did not mishear. These are not the words of German politicians, Chancellor Scholz or Angela Merkel, but of an important Polish historian. I have bad information for your professor, your director. If I become president of Poland, the topic of reparations will return internationally with a big bang. As a legislative initiative on your part to return to this topic, certainly a diplomatic offensive. This may indeed not be the best news for Professor Ruchniewicz, because this historian was also educated at German universities and taught there, was awarded many German medals and orders, and was part of countless German foundations. He researched, for example, the value of German property, let's note, seized by Poland after World War II. The Germans destroyed Poland, murdered almost 6 million of our citizens, never accounted for it. And today, Mr. Ruchniewicz claims that we are the ones who should pay, and in addition settle with the Germans for the property they left in Poland. This is an outrageous approach, and an approach that pursues German interests. And here's Professor Ruchniewicz once again, talking about reparations, which he himself calls a replacement topic. Germany's position has been unchanged for many years. Entering into any debate here was out of the question. Well, that's what Germany's position is. And what about historical truth? What about the German crimes against the Polish people? The raze to the ground Warsaw and other cities for which the Germans have not paid to this day. My beloved Warsaw was horribly destroyed. It was one big pile of rubble decades ago. And let's face it, a lot of material goods were taken to Germany, starting with factory machinery, copper wire, and things like paintings from private homes, silver spoons. I could list endlessly. Instead of reparations, Professor Krzysztof Ruchniewicz graciously leans on the still living victims of the war, warning, this will be a powerful statement. You can subsidize their medicine. You can finance their stays in hospitals or sanatoriums. And this is said by a man who is charged with an audit from the time of the previous institution he headed, the Willy Brandt Center for German and European Studies, as reported by Wirtualna Polska. In the background, there are allegations of mismanagement of up to 750,000 zloty, cronyism, and spending money in violation of the law, including to his own association.